Now this is my implementation for the format two kinds of images, which basically is a single image containing a single digit, and there are a few of them. There are exactly like 73,000 training and validation images and 26,000 testing images for this kind of format. So I ran this in Google Colab, so that's why it has some Colab values in here. So I'm importing all the libraries, all the necessary libraries that I need for this particular implementation, which includes scikit-learn preprocessing libraries as well as Keras. Um, Once I'm done with loading all the pre-processing libraries, I'll just like load the data, which then I split into train and test images right here and print out their shape. As you can see, the last axis contains 73,257, which is the number of total training images. I'll shift this axis to first, as it's easier to access images after that. I just have to do img0, img1, or train underscore images 0 to access those images. So that's what I'm doing, moving the axis right here. I'll be plotting one of the random images just to make sure that the images are fine. And so the data type of train images is int 8, which I convert to float 64, and same I do for test images. And for the labels, I convert their data types to int 64. Now, as you can see, the min and max are ranging from 0 to 255. I normalize them to 0 to 1 using min max normalization. Um, Then I have the training labels, which are basically single digits. I use label binarizer from scikit-learn to transform them into one hot encoding, as you can see right here. So the first one right here had value 1, so the first index contains value 1, and all the rest of the indexes are containing value 0. Then I do a train test split just to split the training data into train and validation, which has about ratio of like 85% to 15%. 85% of training images and 15% of validation images. Now I move on to generating the CNN model architecture, which has basically a few sets of convolutional layers and max pooling layers with batch accompanied by batch normalization layers and dropout layers, just to prevent overfitting, as we did with format 1 as well. And this one only has like a two fully connected layers in the end. As you can see, this is an auxiliary model just to find the perfect learning rate that we can use later in the training. So here I have an LR schedule function which basically updates the learning rate after each epoch to see what learning rate best causes the difference in the loss value. And so I run this network, and this is the graph that I find at the end of it, which is basically learning rate versus training loss versus learning rate. So it basically gives me the value, an optimal value that I can use for learning rate in my future model. I use the same model again, this time to train the model for real, to train the model for real. And this is the model summary for the architecture. I call the training fit generator function, and it runs for about 70 epochs, and at the start of it, it has a accuracy of 0.2232, as you can see, and a loss of 2.1357. At the end of it, it has a loss of 0.1718 and accuracy of 0.95, which is pretty great. And even the validation accuracy is pretty great. It stands around 0.95, 0.96. At the end of it, I plot both the training and validation accuracy side by side, and the losses. As you can see, the training and validation accuracy increase, their loss decrease, which is bound to happen. And now I evaluate the function to get the test accuracy, which is about 96%, which is pretty great for a deep learning network, which is expected. Right here I'm plotting confusion matrix just to find out what are the digits that are performing better than the rest of the digits. As you can see, the top 5 digits, they are definitely better than the following digits, which have like performance of about like 4757, 4653, 4179. It's a true label versus predicted label matrix, as you can see. And that has been my presentation for format 2.